welcome to What the Hell. If you notice that I didn't put in, because I'm going to stop doing the title page and everything.
Yeah, for the What the Hells?
Yeah, because it's, all I'm going to do is put our emblem on there, our logo, and a little bit of music, and it goes in, because it's just dotting, and I don't think anybody reads the whole thing, because last week I put it up and I forgot the whole thing and nobody said anything. So anyways,
yeah, just a real quick sidebar here before we get started.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can get the guy's address so we can get them some birthday cards.
Jumping the gun here a little bit. All right. One of my responsibilities is I'm the vice commander for my local American Legion post here in town, and I was asked to contact a gentleman tonight by the name of Jim Richardson. Jim Richardson is a Marine Corps veteran that lives here in town, and he had a very interesting question. He was talking about his uncle or great uncle by the name of Winfred Lee Wofford. Mr. Wofford is one of the last surviving veterans of the Battle of Guadalcanal. For those of you who do not know, Battle of Guadalcanal took place between 7 August of 1942 and February 9th of 1943. 6 months and 2 days. We lost something to the tune of 18,000 Marines. It's one of the battles where a Marine was awarded the Medal of Honor by the name of John Basilone. But Mr. Wofford he shares a birthday with the Marine Corps, November 10th. And Mr. Wofford was born November 10th of 1921. And he's going to turn 100 years old this November. And, so to me, that is just amazing, because I've always been of the mindset that the veteran community it's a national resource, because we have a unique perspective on American history. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of us were there at those battles, at those, in those theaters. And we're going to try very hard to try to set up a Skype interview with Mr. Wofford, because the opportunities like that just will not present themselves ever again. And we're gonna try to do our best to facilitate an interview with him. And so Mr. Wofford, myself being an Army veteran, and David over here being an Air Force veteran, we want to extend you a hearty Semper Fi, sir. Your generation had to carry around your balls in a wheelbarrow, and the freedoms that we get to enjoy nowadays was in large part secured by your generation. So we thank you very much. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and sit there and tell you that the thought of being able to speak to somebody who was at the Battle of Guadalcanal, it doesn't excite me, make me nervous at the same time, because that's a big deal, and as David alluded to a little bit before I got started here, we're going to do what we can to try to make contacts with the right people, and we're going to see what we can do to help you ring in your 100th birthday in pretty much grand fashion. So
yeah,
be looking for that. We're not going to make any promises right now, but we are going to do what we can to make that interview happen, because I know that I'm a big history guy. So, and I'm sure that a lot of our listeners, viewers on YouTube, stuff like that, they would benefit from hearing stories, life experiences, things like that from somebody who
it's a dying
stepped
generation.
into hell.
It's a dying generation.
But somebody from that generation, somebody with those life experiences, I mean, the amount of knowledge that they could impart upon us. I mean, honestly, I think that we would, if we listened more to the older generation and we applied their lessons to our lives these days, that even though the technology is vastly different and we're way more connected now than we were back then, I think overall our society would be a better place to be in.
Yeah.
But with that, we're gonna talk about things that men cannot vocalize versus what women can vocalize. So
Yeah, we were talking this earlier this week because we were trying to come up with the What the Hell episode of what men can't talk about. And a lot of people, a lot of men, I mean, nowadays it's a little bit more fluid, but if you go back to your dad's time or your dad's dad time, people don't really talk about their feelings, or they don't talk
conversation
about
at work.
Yeah, and we don't talk about men don't talk about their like we found a new brand of underwear that it basically cups the unmentionables pretty well, and it doesn't. I mean, women with thicker thighs, or just women in general. A lot of women that have like I remember a couple of people they'll like put baby powder on their thighs so they don't rub together and everything, cause friction, and start fires. But it's one of those things. I don't remember.
Corduroy. When you said that, I was like, corduroy.
Yeah. Well, when guys are at bars or anything like that, most of the time they're talking about women or anything, but you don't hear. It's like, because I just recently took one of my friends to get a pedicure. I was like, dude, it's fantastic. Let's go to get her a pedicure. He's like, dude, isn't that for women? I was like, dude, he's older man. I mean, he's our age, 43. And I was like, dude, we gotta go. And
I'm sorry, did you say older man, like probably 43? You do realize I'm 43, right?
Yes, we're both older men.
Okay, all right.
You have to live with it.
Well, no, because the way that you put it, it was like, he's 43, so he's an older guy, so he's not used to that. Dude, I'm not afraid to have anybody touch my feet, especially if they are a trained, what would you call them? Pedicurist? I mean, whatever the official nomenclature is, but I'm just like.
But no, it was the stigma. For the longest time, where men couldn't do that, couldn't get manicures, couldn't get. If you're getting manicures, if you're getting pedicures as a man, you're too fancy.
Well, you'd be surprised, like the number of ball players, like baseball players, pitchers specifically. I mean, they get manicures like crazy because you keep those nails trimmed back, and it helps you throw the ball better. Because you're not developing blisters on next to the nail. But you'd be surprised, man, the amount of veterans that are out there, especially infantry soldiers, both Marine and Army. They're out there getting pedicures because, dude, you got to take care of your feet.
Yeah.
I mean, that is your A1 class mode of transportation. I mean, you can air salt in or you can jump in, but once them feet hit the ground, dude, you're busting brush. I mean, you are straight humping towards your objective. And if you're not taking care of your feet, you're adversely affecting the combat effectiveness.
Well, I had to go to what brought me to do this was I had to go to I just got out of corrections. I got a new job, paid well. I was still getting money from corrections because you get all your time and everything's given back to you.
Right.
And what had happened is I went to the doctor. I was like, hey, I have this problem with my knees, and I have this problem with my feet, and I have these problems with my hands. And the problems with my hands were anytime you get like any kind of industry, like extra a hangnail or something like that, and you pull it and you're working around, you get I got pus really bad.
Yeah.
And that's because of all the dirt and everything like that, and the grime and all the diseases that you have, like with like housing a shit ton of people. And the doctor's like, well, on that note, have you ever thought about getting a pedicure? And I was like, isn't that for women? I mean, I still had that stigma.
Yeah.
And he was like, just go get her pedicure and a manicure and you should be fine. I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. Well, I went there. I was like, I had to take somebody with me. 'Cause I had to take a woman with me. I was like, hey, my doctor said I had to get a pedicure. Can you go with me so it looks like, somewhat like we're, a couple and everything? You're dragging me along. Just like, really? I was like, yeah, I'm that. And nowadays, I'll just go by myself.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll get the looks, and I'm like, fuck you.
yeah, and I was the same way, wholeheartedly. But I knew that it would have been beneficial for my feet, but still had that whole I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm an anchor man.
Well, I did research, and come to find out, like in Roman times and everything, after you get done with the farm work and everything, a part of woman's job. And yes, this is ancient Roman times, so don't fucking come at me, Maria. In ancient Roman times, it was a woman's job to clean and massage the feet of the man after he came back with farming and everything like that.
Right.
And one of my relatives, after I was like, yeah, I get pedicures and manicures all the time. It's freaking fantastic. He's like, oh, you're just finally coming out of the closet. I was like, and I did it verbatim. I was like, here's the research. It was actually supposed to be a woman's job to do this, so back the fuck off. But anyways, I still enjoy it. I took when I took Kai, he was like, I've been missing out. This, why haven't we been doing this? You know what we need now? We need like men style pedicure places, so we can be like men, but getting our stuff done.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah.
That would be an interesting concept and everything. Have like be like instead of, because most of the time when you go up there, they're playing soap operas and stuff like that. You have like sports shows everywhere.
Sports shows, Arnold Schwarzenegger movies
like
from the 80s.
Clips,
yeah.
but with a nail salon.
Right.
All you hear over the loudspeaker is freaking Lamb of God.
Jesus. Lamb of God. Yeah.
Well, there at one point in time there was a I don't know if they still do it, but there was literally a bar type environment where you can get like whiskey and everything while you get your pedicure and manicure.
Well, there's a place here in town.
And it's over by
It's over by Burlington.
Yeah.
It's on Caulfield. It's Spline V or something like that.
Hot Wax or some shit like that.
No. Anyways,
because
so
it's
you go
next
in.
to Rockstar.
I went in there with my girlfriend, and we got pedicures. I don't care anymore. So I went in there with her, and they gave me beer and they gave her wine. I mean, they're like, they didn't even ask. They're like, you want beer? And I'm like, yeah, what you got? And they're like, oh, we got Michelob Ultra. I'm like, no. Oh, we got Shiner? Bring me a Shiner. So I mean, I'm in there drinking a Shiner Bock, getting my feet worked on. I'm like, hell yeah, this is the shit right here. This is what it's about.
Dude, could you imagine you're getting all that stuff done and you have to get an Uber afterward? Yes.
Massage chairs. Oh, bro. I'm just like, yeah. And then like the hot stones on your legs. I'm like, that's where it's at, bro.
I'm telling you. And it loosens your whole leg up, and it gives you more circulation and everything. And
that's it. That's it. When I go to Houston this weekend, she's wanting to try to go do something with just me and her sister, and I'm like, all right, cool. So
you're like, let's go do the pedicure.
They're like, hey, let's go get our feet. Let's go get our feet did. Like,
yeah.
No, I'm not getting the clear coat on my nails. Like, just trim that shit and just. Just sand off the fucking calluses on my fucking feet, but
yeah,
I
got you. I got you on that one. I don't do the
don't do the clear coat. No, at all.
Even though even though it's supposed to help with the nails and everything.
I give a damn.
Yeah.
The fact that in my head, I know that I've got fucking nail polish on, absolutely not.
So no nail polish.
No nail polish.
Even if it's research that it's actually beneficial.
I give 2 shakes of a rat's ass. No. Absolutely not. You come at me with any kind of enamel and say, "Oh, I'm gonna put this on your toenail," and no, that's not a racist thing. So don't come at me. Most of the women that work in a freaking nail salon are Asian. Hello, have we met?
Yeah.
But
It's like going to a convenience store. You have that stigmata, but it's true.
right,
I mean,
you can smell the chemicals before you walk in, so you're like, I got to put the cigarette out, and then you go in, right? But when you get in, they're like, okay, what do you want? So you select what you want, and then you go sit in a chair, and then the technician comes over, and they're like,
have you ever gotten the citrus one?
no.
What they do is they take a orange, it's orange, and rub it on your feet and everything. The acid base gets rid of a lot of the dead follicles.
I see where you're going with that, but it's just like, to me.
No, I'm not being
No,
any kind of
I
facetious
know,
or
I
anything
know,
like
I know.
that. It actually feels good.
But I'm like, no, I'm not going to rule it out. Let's just say that. I mean,
Try it once.
you know how I'm always telling people, like, be open-minded. Being open-minded is okay, but don't be so open-minded that your brain falls out. I'll reserve judgment until after I get one, but yeah. Moving on though, we brought up the subject of underwear,
Yes.
and we we elicited a weird ass look from our coworker because I was talking about the Hanes that I had on, and that I've got. Well, I'm wearing a different pair of Hanes, but the Hanes,
Yeah.
the boxer briefs have the pouch now,
Yeah.
to where your boys can ride in there. And I'm telling you what, man, I'm like, okay, little, like, all right, so I'm gonna basically kind of just put them in a collar. Is that what we're talking about here? I'm like, but you know what? And I'll say this: boxer briefs with the pouch in there, the sack for your sack, far and away, superior. Just superior to normal, everyday, mere mortal boxer briefs.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I had
it's like a new pair of underwear. Like, okay, you remember back in the days when everybody wore the whitey tighties or the underoos, right? And you get that fresh pair of underwear that's brand new, and it gives you that nice, tight,
Then
firm,
it stretches way too much.
that feeling of security.
Yeah.
Right? And then they get all stressed out, right? Because they're all made out of cotton.
Yeah.
Right? But with the wicker moistening fabrics and the blends that they're using nowadays that have that elasticity built into them,
Mm-hmm.
dude, it doesn't matter how many times these things go through the washer and dryer cycle. Just putting them on, bro. I'm like, come on, man, seriously.
Well, the main reason why I switched over, because I used to just use boxers, but I was kept on itching on my groin area.
Yeah.
And I switched over, and it doesn't pull my hairs. Of course, unlike my co-host, he's well managed on his hair follicles on his body, except for like his beard.
No, don't start. Dude.
I'm saying that you have longer.
The term that you're looking for is manscaped. Yes. So yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically, what is it? It's called the lawnmower, right? Lawnmower 3.0. And now they have a 4.0 out now, but and it comes with like an LED light.
You know what's
and
really sad
it's
is
like a wireless charger.
I watched the review because I was wondering about it and everything like that. I hates crap. The guy that was doing the review. He's like, I don't know why, but this pulls my hair a little bit more than the battery life on this.
Oh yeah, the battery life on the 3.0, absolute shit.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get the $80, together.
He said go and get you a I would have to look at it again.
Anyway, but it's got the ceramic blade, so it never gets dull, right? And you can use it in the shower, So I mean, it's just less to deal with, but yeah, it's not like I don't know. It's a hygiene thing.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like if you spend any amount of time in the gym, or anything like that, or, you have an occupation where you lift heavy things, for 8-9 hours a day, it just, you're able to operate a whole lot more freely because, you're not getting those ingrown hairs. You're not sweating like a freaking throw rug underneath your shirt. And, your body's able to cool off a lot better, a lot easier. And just on top of everything else, man, to me,
that was another thing we were talking about.
Body hair has certain places on certain individuals, right? Now, I know that some people are more genetically predisposed, like Polish people or people of Greek descent, or Russian. But, to me...
I've seen some really weird hair designs for Russians.
Right, or rednecks from the South.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's one of those things that...
Okay, so...
If you have it's one of those things that some people look good in a mullet and some people look like...
Now, it's funny you bring up mullet because last weekend I went to the season opener for the Wichita Falls Warriors, our hockey team here, and there was a guy who worked security, right? A security guard. Had the absolute most majestic mullet, right? And I was there with a buddy of mine.
Yeah, some people can pull it off and some people can't.
Well, I was like, we saw it, and I was like, I've got to go say something to him. So I walked up to this complete stranger. I was like, dude, I have to shake your hand because that mullet is absolutely righteous. And he's like, I appreciate it, man. He shook my hand. He was like, dude, I've been working on this for 4 years. And I'm like, now, if you don't have a Firebird with T-tops and you're blasting Scorpion, you're fucking doing it wrong. And he goes, well, I don't have a Firebird, but I am into some Scorpion. And I was like, all right. I said, what about the sleeveless jean jacket? And he goes, no, I've got a jean jacket. And I was like, all right, okay, you can keep it, But and the dude just rocked it, man. I was just like, that's fucking awesome. He's all like business up front, and he's a party in the back. I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, the only thing missing there is a pair of Star-Spangled Bannered boxers or swim trunks, an open tall boy of beer, and an American flag mounted on a shotgun barrel. I'm just like, come on, dude.
Well, that was another thing we also talked about too was soap. Because he was saying, he was like, well, I was like, dude, you got to get some Duke Cannon. He's like, well, I've had some Duke Cannon. I was like, no, you gotta. I mean, they have naval warfare or naval supremacy. And the one that you mentioned,
the Bourbon Trace,
the
Buffalo Trace bourbon, yeah,
that was actually that's good. I just didn't like the smell, but I love navel.
Yeah, but
because it had that sea breezy.
So it's like, oh, I feel like frolicking, but no, I mean, I use the Buffalo Trace bourbon one because I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you're smelling it straight off the bar, yeah, it is overpowering, but.
I did the bar for the bourbon, but I did the supremacy for the liquid, and this stuff is thick.
Right.
It is like really thick. It's maple syrup, basically.
Nice. Okay, I'll have to find it. But because and then we started talking about because I had that long beard.
Yeah.
And
we were
talking about upkeep.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you had mentioned Head and Shoulders.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no, because the pH balance on your head versus on your face are two completely different zones.
Well, no, I use Head and Shoulders only to get rid of the dandruff. Because I was doing the research in the main itching stuff when you're starting to get a beard and everything like that. Yeah. It's dandruff.
Yeah, it is. But just because of the coarseness of the hair and because of the pH balance on your facial skin is different, and so they actually have shampoos that are engineered for beard care as well as conditioners, and so and you have to combine that with an oil regimen. So
I still like his hey, go give me my ball soap.
Yeah,
because they have different soap for.
He's got shampoo specifically to wash his nads with, and he's like telling his wife, oh, I'm going to his wife's like, hey, I'm going to the store. And you think, yeah, baby, get me some ball soap, And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, give me some ball soap. And he was using that to wash his face with. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, I get it, because it's got the conditioners and stuff like that. And, with
Well, it's also depending on what kind of conditioner you use too.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I found this conditioner that works for my entire body, and because I decided to go hairy, because I like early warning signs when air is different. Dude, you hadn't noticed that whenever like the air picks up in there, something like that, it does catch on your hair, and I freak out, and I'm like, okay. Well, it's it's a weird terminology when I do it. It's more or less having a spire sense.
yeah, no,
technically.
I get that. Yeah, it's like when my beard was really long. I loved it. I loved going outside when it was windy, or just like riding with the windows down in the car, and that wind catch it, right?
We still do that here. I mean, you did that here recently when we were coming back.
Yeah.
And you just put your head
Yeah.
through the window and everything like that. It does feel good.
It's relaxing.
Now I
And-
know why dogs do it.
exactly. I just hang my head out the window, But
And I have to remind you, dude, motherfucker, you're driving. Stop that shit.
right, the rumble strips tend to that's my lane departure warning right there. But
Yeah.
was else were we talking about? Oh, like me personally, like I use a tea tree shampoo for my head. Right?
Yeah, I do
and
the same thing.
But I use the stuff
that is actually good for your beard too.
It is, but I have found that some of the components that are in that shampoo and conditioner,
Well, no, I
it
just get the
leaves my facial hair dry, right?
Well, it's also the conditioner.
Yeah,
I just
right.
get straight conditioner.
Well, what I do is I buy a beard shampoo. The website's like the Bearded Struggle, right? And it's a lot of Viking or Norse-based stuff.
There's a lot of.
There is, but I like that. I like that particular stuff. I used to do the whole beard club thing, but they started downsizing their bottles and then increasing their prices, and I'm
yeah.
like, bro, come on, man. But
Selling out.
and I think that I think they were based out of California or something like that, but it just it got incredibly too expensive. And I went and I found the Bearded Struggle. It's like a lot of Norse Viking type themed stuff, and there's a lot of vanilla scent in their stuff, but there was one that I found. It's called Free as Bliss. It's got kind of like a citrus and cedar and fir needle kind of thing going on there, and to me it just smelled better, smelled a little bit more woodsy. Because to me, when I smell things like vanilla, like the scent of vanilla or French vanilla, the only thing that I can really think about
Cookies.
is a dirty bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Because
Okay,
you'll
I
get
see
those
that.
people that's like they'll wipe their counters down, but they won't scrub back behind the toilet, or they won't actually brush the bowl out, and you still got that like bathroom funk.
Or you got the bathroom,
the scum in the tub.
no. The toilet where you lift the handle and back behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with the lid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because dude, splash is a problem. Anyways, so if especially if you go into like a business or a hotel or something like that, or like a public restroom,
They usually use vanilla.
usually use vanilla, and I'm like,
I had to switch everything over.
Like it turns me out. Like I'm just like, I can't. I smell vanilla, and I'm like, to me, that tells me that housekeeping didn't do their job, and they just it's like the housewife that goes around just dropping a couple of drops of bleach in random corners in the house so that way it smells like it's been
it's
cleaned.
like women wearing perfume. I can't stand women wearing like a heavy amount of perfume, only because of
The French.
no, going to because I used to have to clean women's bathrooms. Well, I
Yeah.
have to clean the bathrooms.
Oh,
you
dude,
have to
women's
do-
bathrooms are nasty.
They're nasty, and they have that fragrance of shit and perfume mixed together.
Oh, dude, it's horrible.
It's like, oh, my farts smell like roses. No, they don't.
they don't.
They smell like shit roses. That's what they fucking smell like. And another thing is, every time that it's a stigma now, and they do this constantly, and you just did it too. It's like the Spartans and the Vikings.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, and this gets me every time, only because thank you, Evan Hafer, for ruining this for me, but it's funny as fuck. Is anytime you mention that, I keep on thinking of homosexuals and everything. Because if you look into history and everything like that, they were heavily in homosexuality.
Yeah.
And every time that's mentioned, I'm like, fuck you, Evan Hafer.
Wait.
Because he.
What is it that I do that reminds you of that?
The Vikings.
Vikings, okay.
Vikings were heavily gay too.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Months on longboats? Are you?
Yeah.
Of course they were.
But
nobody talked about it.
But but it has the stigma of being like manly men. I mean, back in that time, yeah, you did like really weird stuff, but there's people out there that are homophobes or hate homosexual and everything.
Yeah,
and
the overly homophobic people
and they
are
get
the ones
the
that are like
Viking
the closet.
tattoos,
Yeah.
and they get the Spartan tattoos, and they're all even Andy from Cleared Hot. He was talking about it with Evan Hafer, and he's like, I literally was getting off the helicopter, and one of the guys is like, come back with your shield, or
On
just
your
come
shield or with it, yeah.
yeah, on your shield or with it, and he was like, did we get issued a shield or something? What am I missing? And then he was actually on the set of 300.
Yeah,
while it was
it's
filming.
on the shield or with it. For those of you who don't know, it's something that the families of Spartan warriors or Roman soldiers would, or even knights in medieval England, would tell their loved ones going off to battle. You either come back with your shield, which means you fought gallantly and you survived. You come back on your shield, which means you're being carried by your brethren because you died in battle. But if you come back without your shield, that usually meant that you dropped it and ran.
Yeah.
And my dad told me that when I shipped off for basic. He gave me that whole on your shield or with it speech. And, at the time I was just like, eye roll. I'm 17.
And did you read the Thenopsy, or what was it? The book for
The Odyssey?
no, not the Odyssey.
Odysseus? Or
The one for the Spartans.
no, I haven't. Not yet. I
God,
want to, though. I need to find it.
I think it's let me look at it. But I also man, I can't. I wish I had a better memory sometime.
We need to piece together Alpha Brain.
I know, right?
Oh, that's what we can do. We
God damn it! It came up.
We can take the multivitamins that are in that thing and we can package it together and we can call we can call it the Angry Me Booster Shot. That would be so great.
That would be great. No. I had THUCYDIDES. The loss of the. Or it's some kind of. I think it's Wall of Fire. Gates of Fire. There we go. Gates of Fire. That's the history of the Spartan War. And that's the book that actually, it's a history book that actually goes over it. But there's also, I was watching, speaking of Spartans and everything, but it's something to that extent. And it was, I think no, it wasn't Kurds. It was an Indian troops were fighting in Afghanistan during the Afghanistan war with England back in the 1900s.
Right.
And it was 12 of these warrior groups, and it was 21 against 14,000. And at the end of the battle, when they finally were able to get troops and everything, there were 6,000 Afghans dead, and those 21s had defeated them.
Really?
Yeah, there's a movie about it. Man, But going back on Battle of Sangria, TIRAH campaign, and it was 12,000 to 24,000 against 21.
Yeah.
It was in 1897. But that was another Spartan style reference where they didn't give up for the for how many people there were with them. And it was they honored. Well, I'm going to send you this word, and you'll probably figure it out, because it's the ones that have turbans and they have long
Sheiks?
beards. SIKH.
Shakes or shikes or not shikes?
Shaky.
No,
Or-
it's Sikh, something
See,
like that.
yeah. And they're one of the few people that are very warrior based.
Oh, dude, they are like heavy.
Yeah,
Heavy
and
warrior
to the
based.
point to where now in the United States military, they're allowed to keep their long hair and long beards and.
Well, it's a
turban as
religious exemption.
Yeah.
So, and they fought hard to get that. And,
Oh, yeah.
But there's people that abuse the system. There's one guy. There's a few guys in the military that claim that they're
now it's
they're
like Vikings.
Norse.
Yeah, Norse.
And so one guy's like, I must pay homage to Odin, and I have to keep my beard. And it's like, dude, you just don't want to fucking shave.
Yeah.
Shut up. It's like,
But-
come on.
But what was the other thing that we were talking about? We were talking about something else, and surprisingly, we're not talking about women or anything like that in this episode.
No.
And that was the big stigma of guys talking. We're not talking about women. Every once in a while, we'll brazen up about women and everything like that, but it's men care that a lot of men don't talk about. It's like, hey, because if you don't have rough hands or anything like that, you're not a man. I mean, every night I'll lotion my hands up because I read this article of how putting more moisture into your hands actually protects your hands a lot better for when you're doing work.
Yeah.
Because it gives them more elasticity.
Yeah.
So you don't get cut easily.
And even people like Mark Wahlberg.
I know. The reason why I was bringing that up is because the whole heel, when your heel's looking.
Oh yeah, yeah. I showed David this meme, and it's the look your heel gives you when you're using a lotion to masturbate with, and and yeah. So, I mean, I use lotion on my feet.
Yeah.
Specifically my heels, because I mean, dude, I've got calluses on my big toes like crazy.
There was this
And
article
the
that
pumice
you
stone
just
doesn't work.
no,
It
no,
it really doesn't.
No, I read this article that if you get like shopping bags, and you wrap them on your feet and you put straight orange, and everything, you can be able to peel off all the dead skin and everything. But I don't.
Hey, dude, I'm afraid that it's going to eat through my foot. I don't want to walk around like Michael Scott after he's burned his foot on the Foreman grill.
Yeah.
But because I've had those types of foot injuries where you get done with a road march, you take your boots off, and the caps of your heels just fall off.
Ugh.
I've had that, and dude, that's not a fun time.
No, it's not.
And because that's absolutely raw meat.
Yeah.
Underneath that, and I'm just like, I don't personally want to deal with that. And
I mean, what was it? The Pacific. It was the Pacific that watched it. They were literally like stabbing, which you don't do. You don't stab your blisters.
yeah, no.
But they were stabbing the blisters to get that release of pressure and everything. I mean, it ends up getting gangrened and everything, especially in that time frame. But it literally it is a release, but it's a false release because it has to develop that skin and everything.
Yeah.
But men are taught from square one, just tough it out. And I mean, we are supposed to be like this big honking wall against all tyranny and evil and everything. Some men dropped the ball on that, but we're supposed to be protective and everything. But we have to maintain ourselves too. That was the whole thing about this. It was we have to protect ourselves. We have to, if we're going to do these marches, you got to protect your feet. You got to protect your skin, especially from getting. I had a friend of mine that took his shirt off while doing roofing.
Yeah.
And he had like this size blisters on his back. And if people are laughing at you, hey, let them laugh, because you're taking care of your body.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want my skin to look like leather when I get older.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean,
and that was another thing is moisture under your face. A lot of men don't do it.
Yeah, and because there is that whole, a man's supposed to look a certain way. Now, we're not saying go full femme. That's not what we're saying at all. And now, for the people that do that, hey, good on you, whatever. I mean, if that's the lifestyle that you choose to live, then hey, that's on you. I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to condemn. I'm not going to condone. I mean, that's a decision that you have the opportunity to make in this country. So, if that's the way that you want to do you, boo-boo, then you go right on ahead. But, it with the, I mean, just because everybody wants to talk about, like we were saying, men, manly men, to me, yeah, there is something to be said for weathered lines and crow's feet and furrowed brows, on those old-time farmers and just the older generation, because, I mean, they went through a lot of crap in their lives. And there's something to be said for the story that those lines and those wrinkles and those creases in their faces and stuff and the calluses on their hands, I mean, there's a lot to be said for that story. But it doesn't necessarily take away from the masculinity. It doesn't, and it's not a toxic masculinity. There's, in my mind, there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. The only reason it becomes toxic in any shape, form, or fashion,
it's because of the Karens.
It's because of this woke mentality. It's like we're trying to make everybody equal. Well, we're not all. I mean, yes, well, all men are created equal. Okay, some people. Some people, and I'm not going to say male, female, white, black, Hispanic, Asian. I'm not going to say any of that. But there are some people who are endowed with a better work ethic.
Yeah.
And it's it doesn't take away from your masculinity. It doesn't take away from your from your ability to identify as a working class individual. If you want to wear wrinkles, go for it. If you don't mind having tanned skin because you're out in the sun, at least take the time to put on some sunblock. It doesn't have to be like 100 SPF or anything like that.
Surprised. I'm really surprised, since I haven't been in the sun that much, that I didn't get because I was out in the sun all year, all this summer. I'm surprised I didn't get really red skin. And I guess it's the genetics that prevented that. But I didn't get red. I got tanned.
Yeah.
But I didn't get red. Which I was really surprised, because I used to, as a kid, get skin and everything like that. But I started lotioning up. I'd get that working hand lotion.
Yeah.
With thick stuff. And I just apply it. And it helped a lot. But I guess that's it for this episode.
Yeah, so I mean, just to kind of cap it out here a little bit, I mean, it's, we we give each other a lot of shit for, you know, it's like I bring a roll-on of aspirin with like lidocaine in it, or BioFreeze or something like that. Just it's like, dude,
I usually
I get sore.
I get Tiger Balm.
Yeah, I get sore. So it's like, okay, I need to be able to put this on so that way I can continue to work without being completely miserable. That's not going to take away from my ability to provide. It's not going to take away from my ability to perform if I push through the pain or push through the soreness. I just don't want to have to deal with it at that particular moment.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to stop and say, hey, look, I need 15, 20 minutes for this pain pill to kick in. Because I don't like to do pain pills to begin with.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like ibuprofen. I showed you that bottle of horse pills that the fucking VA gave to me.
Yeah.
It's like, it just elicits all kinds of memories of Doc coming over there with a damn sandwich bag full of Motrin, and he's like, here, take this. And you're just like, oh, okay, sure. Your liver's over there going, fuck me, are you serious? It's like, it's like you wake up, your liver's in the bed next to you crying, but you feel great, but it just, I'm just like, holy crap. I've got, you got to be able to take care of yourself, because ultimately at the end of the day we want to be around long enough to be able to enjoy our kids, to be able to enjoy our family, friends, our grandkids at some point in the distant future, but it like seriously just kind of, it really, it's a detriment that you get people on both sides of the spectrum where don't do anything to help yourself out, because that's what men are supposed to do. We're supposed to embrace the suck. Well, embracing the suck can mean a lot of things. As veterans, we both know, hey, look, embrace the suck. We know, hey, look, just grit your teeth, bear it, bend over, spread the cheeks, so that way they can get in a little bit easier.
My knees are broken from embracing the suck.
Exactly, right? But...
And that wasn't military. That was correctional, being a correction officer, because I was going up like 3 flights of stairs 2 or 3 times in 30 minutes, because we had to do count and everything.
Yeah.
Every hour, and that is to this day, if I see stairs, I'm like, well, there's no elevator, so this shit's not getting up there.
Right, exactly. But then you get people on the other side of the spectrum. They're like, well, we've got to do this and we got to do that, and it's like, yes, I know that I'm talking with a list, but I'm not being
or being split, or and I hate to tell you this, men aren't spreading their legs because they want to show their genitals a little bit better and let women know their genitals are there. It's because
I don't want my balls sticking to my legs.
Exactly.
Which is why I wear underwear with the pouch, dude. I'm telling you, I have not once had to do that funky little sidestep because my balls were stuck to my inner thigh.
Yes. So, yes. I still do it every once in a while, only because I sweat really bad.
Yeah, when my girlfriend got me that underwear, bro, I'm telling you, when I put that stuff on, I was like, what is this? It's like somebody cradling, and then I'm like, I feel oddly invincible. And I'm like, okay, and
we're still going to try to turn you back on to the Gold Bond powder medicated.
I've got some
medicated.
Yeah, I'm good.
You
fresh out of the shower.
Fresh out of the shower. No, we had a freaking conversation about this bullshit, and you fucking just.
But no,
you
stop.
You trashed me like a little bitch.
Okay. In all transparency,
because you went
I told you that I pulled that shit when I was in basic. Like, everybody would come out of the shower first thing that they did, and I made that mistake once.
And then you went back and you're like, wait a minute, Dave's right again.
No, I didn't say Dave's right again. I dry it off, but it's still fresh out of the shower. I'm like, okay, yes. What you were talking about,
Maria, is the die.
Burn. I mean, if your shit's wet. And you put that on there, You might as well either have a midget with a tiki torch following you around, or Johnny Cash's mariachi band, because that shit's fire, bro. And I'm not talking about the good kind. No, sir. No. We're talking about instantly stepping back into the shower, putting it on full cold, grabbing the nozzle off the
Well, you
wall.
don't grab like a handful of it and just. You like.
You come hard, come loud, or don't come at all, bro. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you do is. And you just.
You were close to the mic and you were like,
Yeah.
you know, but. God.
She's going to die again.
But, at this point, the people that were listening, they're like, you know what, they're onto something. And now, what is this fuckery about Gold Bond? What is this all about? And he's talking about, what? No, midgets and tiki torches? This is somewhere along the lines, I think I've stepped through a portal into an alternate dimension where this is suddenly okay.
It's the squirrel mentality. We have it. We are upset. But anyways, thank you for listening, folks. I'm David Dickerman.
And I'm Johnny Skelton.
And this is What the Hell Man Care. Thank you for listening.
Underwear with pouches.
God damn it.